Alrighty, how we doing, boys? My name is Wolf. Welcome back to some more Guild Wars 2. I'm just gonna be chilling and fishing today because I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the new elite specs, and I want to know your opinion more than anything else. I want to use this video as sort of like a groupthink comment section because I keep seeing the exact same thing, which is that no one can really agree. So, I'm curious what your guys' experience has been with the Elite specs so far, because my experience varies very, very heavily from what I've heard from Reddit, from what I've heard from people on stream, from what I've even heard from you guys. So, I'm genuinely curious, what are your thoughts on the current Elite specs? Feel free to leave them in the comments, do a whole nerd write-up if you want, make a paragraph, whatever have you. I'll try and respond to as many as I possibly can. But I just want to kind of go through my thoughts with all of the specs so far, and just sort of also go over the groupthink on Reddit, as well as just what I've seen from a lot of people in general. I'm going to just kind of go down the list as things go on, but let's start with what I put in Ultra S tier for my tier list that I made earlier, which was Ritualist. In my opinion, absolute best spec in the entire expansion. I'd say Amalgam is probably the next best, however, I guarantee you Amalgam is going to get nerfed. And when I made a community tier list as well, funnily enough, the entire thing had Amalgam at the top, Paragon, Evoker, and Ritualist in mid-tier, and then everything else in Yikes tier. That was pretty much how the tier list went, so my full expectation is that Amalgam gets nerfed, which is why I don't particularly want to talk about it too much, because everyone else is kind of saying the same thing, is that Amalgam is just the absolute best of the best of all the specs, so fully expect that to get nerfed into the floor, and or nerfed on release day, more than likely. But when it comes to the rest of the specs, everyone's saying very counterintuitive opinions. People are saying Ritualist does no damage. They're saying the single target DPS is bad. And I don't think they've been nuked by an Anguish that you just can't dodge. I don't think they're playing against Ritualists and going 0-7 like I am to a bunch of spirits that are literally unkillable with no counterplay. Like, I don't know what experience you guys are having with Ritualist, and obviously it's vastly different to mine. But, yeah, I could not beat a single one, because you just get Wanderlusted, and you dodge the Wanderlust, or you take the knockdown, and then you get a full Anguish to the face that you just immediately die, and that's just it. The fact that Ritualist has 3, basically, NPCs following them that are unkillable, absolutely unkillable, because there's no hitbox on them, because if they were killable, it creates a whole new problem of now you have to make sure that the Ritualist spirits don't get passively cleaved in PvE or in PvP. So, like, it creates counterplay to make them killable, but it also makes it feel so bad for the guy playing it. But right now, it feels so bad for the guy playing against it, because all you can do is burn dodge roll 1 on Wanderlust and dodge roll 2 on Anguish, and then die anyway. So, I mean, that's my experience. And people are saying that Ritualist does too low damage. So, I don't know if they're meaning, like, too low overall DPS as, like, perpetual sustained DPS, which is also a little bit ironic because the spirits stay up and keep firing projectiles, so I don't know about that one particularly. I didn't test it for PvE myself, so maybe I'm entirely wrong in that department. But the burst damage feels like crazy, crazy good. So if they mean persistent overall DPS and PvE, okay, maybe, sure. But then we have to be very careful with the complaints we're making, because if we're complaining about them having overall low DPS, and then they boost low DPS, that means the burst they already have that's exceptionally good gets even better. And then in PvP, all of a sudden you're dealing with a unkillable spirit that blows you up and then does crazy good DPS afterwards while it's still standing. Are we sure we want to wish for that? Are we really sure we want this timeline? So, yeah, I don't know about that one. And then Paragon. My experience with Paragon is that it's exceptionally good. However, Paragon has a lot of problems. It didn't cross my opinion that that We Will Never Yield was as dogshit as it is, because I used it twice and took it off my bar and never particularly looked back. But yeah, it turns out that for whatever reason, they made it so that when you use a burst skill on that skill, it will automatically trigger the final bonus component to it. So like the burst will trigger the echo or the refrain, whichever fucking one it's called. I don't know. There's like 7 different mechanics and they all do the same bloody thing. But yeah, it basically makes it so if you actively use your burst or your chance or you flip chance or anything like that, the ability will go off again, but it won't stack duration, so it basically just screws itself, which is hilarious. So that's garbage. Absolutely agree that that's garbage. But some people are saying the healing power on it is, like, screwed. And some people are also calling it, like, a turbo bunker spec, right? And I ran it with full Berserker. Well, full Berserker except for, like, healing power accessories. And was arguably unkillable. So I don't know if that is bunker or just Paragon being good. But yet again, if we're saying Paragon has low healing power and low healing overall, and yet I'm able to pop my chant too and be unkillable by everything other than builds that can Condi bomb me 9 times in a row. Do we want this timeline? Do we want the timeline where they buff Paragon healing power when the Paragon I was playing can sustain a 1v4 for like about a minute and some change without really having much real kill threat from the enemy team unless I make a major misplay? Are we sure we want this timeline? And then Gail shot. Oh my god, Gail shot. I feel like I'm the one with the wrong opinion at this point. I genuinely think if you think Gail shot is good, you are a fucking raccoon. Absolutely, you love eating trash. Like, that's not me shit-talking you. Guild Wars players have been bullied for a very, very long time by ArenaNet and by a lot of fucking just stuff added to this game over and over and over. So at this point, we're just happy something exists, especially Ranger mains. We're just happy we get anything. We get so fucking bullied. We're almost warrior players at this point. It's a travesty. But that being said, if you think Gale Shot's good, I genuinely think that you're so used to eating trash, you forgot what good feels like. Because that spec is so fucking atrociously garbage. I one-shot every single one that I come across in PvP. I think I went like 5-0, 6-0. Like, I literally have not lost one time to a Gale Shot. I have not seen a Gale Shot win a duel. Gale Shot's DPS did higher damage from my testing without a bow. Yes, okay, I'm not the greatest of testing gurus in this fucking game. And some people have benched higher with a longbow setup, and some people pulled 40k and all this sort of crazy shit, sure. But, like, you know, Hawkeye jumping over the fucking projectile wall, it's like, it feels like some of this stuff just wasn't tested. that's just the nicest way to put it. It just feels like it wasn't tested, or maybe we're the testers. I don't know, man. It's just, it's a travesty. And so, yeah, I don't know. Gale Shot sucks, in my opinion, and everyone's like, oh, they're so excited for it. Gale Shot got all the work. Gale Shot looks hype as fuck. Like, am I wrong? I'm perfectly fine with being wrong, but like, I don't know how I'm wrong in that opinion. Feel free to enlighten me in the comments below. What about Gale Shot do you like that makes it look cool? Like, the bow looks like ass. The animations are kind of cool. Like, Hawkeye is cool, sure. The flow of the bow is ass. The arrow generation feels like ass. It just, the utilities, one utility is useful, which is like the knife throw. The projectile wall would be maybe useful if it had no cast time and you could drop it in the middle of a rapid fire cooldown. The tornado was cool. I like that. The big Yasuo tornado you throw up, that was pretty cool. I don't think you ever really use it over Strength of the Pack all that often, though, unless you're playing in, like, an organized group scenario where you can not have to worry about self-gen might. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm probably wrong, but I want to know how I'm wrong. This is kind of why I'm doing this video. It's like, let me know your opinions, because now we're going to go on the Luminary. And Luminary is so divisive. Luminary, in my opinion, hot garbage. Absolute bottom of the barrel, like you're scraping the fucking scum off the bottom of the trash can level of bad. And this is so divisive because some people are saying Luminary is like the best PvP spec they've ever played. And whatever you're smoking, I would like to talk to your dealer. Genuinely, because I don't know, like, this is this is the unique part of beta weekends like this, is that some people will just find something absolutely broken that nobody else plays, and then their experience will be like ultra S tier in comparison to the rest of the community. So like maybe someone figured out something about Luminary that we don't know. And when they comment and they say, oh my god, I've had the greatest of experiences with Luminary, I just chain dazed this guy into the floor, it's amazing, I'm unkillable. Like, maybe he's put together some miracle setup that nobody has looked at. Absolutely possible, and that's sort of the amazing part of games with such deep build diversity. But that doesn't seem... that's the thing, is like, I don't think that that's the norm of the opinion. But, like I said, I could be wrong in that, and, you know, people could really think that it's amazing. So I don't know if I'm seeing outlier opinions over and over and over, or if it's just the nature of beta weekends and the deep build craft, that some people are like, oh my god, this is insane, I don't know what you're talking about, or they're trolling. They could also be trolling and rage baiting, that's entirely possible too. But, yeah, it seems very, very divisive for a lot of this sort of stuff, of like, some people find the exact same thing as another guy completely fucking garbage, and some of them find it absolutely incredible, and I don't know if that's a testament to the product, a testament to human creativity, or something we need to be very, very wary about. And at the same time, it's also none of our problem, because we aren't paid to balance the fucking game, we just have to deal with whatever we're going to get handed. But I do think we need to be very, very careful with the feedback we give, because we could wind up with a very painful set of elite specs, let's put it that way. Because I got asked before what I think about the elite specs in comparison to everything. And I think these are the weakest elite specs we have ever had, across the board. Feel free to argue with me on that, but these are the absolute weakest, most undercooked dog shit elite specs we entirely have, and across everything. And a real shocker, this one. All the Guild Wars 1 elite specs are the only ones that feel like they're like actually playable and generally functional. They feel like they got all of the time, which is Ritualist. I mean, Paragon doesn't feel like it got all of the time, but from my experience, Paragon was one of the few that felt playable. And, I mean, yeah, okay, Gail shot got work in animations, but I don't think that the animations really make it good or fun to play, particularly. Maybe that's just my opinion, of course. But, like, I don't know. I don't know, like, Gail shot did not feel fun to play to me. It looks cool, don't get me wrong, like, Hawkeye looks incredible. Although Supersonic Arrow taking 20 fucking minutes to cast is a little bit ironic. But yeah, and then the bow itself looks like such ass. And then people are saying that, like, that they like the bow, that they're a big fan of the mechanic, and then the next guy comments and says, rip my legendary bow, and it's just like, we can't come to a consensus. Nobody has a similar opinion. One guy loves eating trash, one guy is crying because his legendary is useless. So, yeah. I don't know, man. And then everyone's pissed off about Evoker. For God knows what reason, because I don't play enough Elementalists to really have an opinion, but I'm gonna have one anyways, because I'm a content creator, and that's my job, pissing people off. Yeah, Evoker felt okay from what I played, but then again, I also only played the, like, solo spec of it, because that's literally the only version of Elementalist I'm gonna play. And I genuinely think they probably should have focused the entire Elite spec just on specialized elements itself, rather than on the familiar. I feel like it would have probably sold better, just as, like, specialized elements of the elite spec, you know, because people have been asking for that for absolutely so long. So it does feel like it's kind of a tacked on element into like a otherwise interesting spec. Like, it feels like we could have had two good elite specs, but at the same time, I'm not arguing with the fact that they're sort of mushed together, because then you get both at the same time. You kind of get, it's like I said with the reveal video of like 5 classes in one. You get the actual Evoker itself, and then you get all 4 elements as basically individual mages with, you know, the frogs and what have you over top. So that's cool. But, yeah, everyone hates it. Everyone hates it. I will say I agree with some of the points, which was that the familiar should auto-cast, because yeah, it was kind of brutal doing my combos over and over for like piss-ass minimal damage, to then have to repeatedly press the familiar on time, and then if you fucked up the familiar timing, you wasted charges over and over. So if it just auto-casted, that would be nice, but then it's also kind of hard to auto-cast when certain things require targeting. Like, I think, did the otter require targeting? I don't remember, it might not have. But it's stuff like that where, like, if it's auto-casting, unless it just targets the lowest health teammate or something. But even then, like, if it targets the lowest health teammate by automatic press, then if you see an eviscerate incoming, you need to heal specific teammate, but then it hasn't hit him yet, and you want to prep it, and then your fucking otter goes and heals the guy to the left, and you watch Timmy die. Are we really ahead again? You know, like, I don't know. I'm not paid to fucking fix the game, so not my problem. But it's just sort of something I find very, very interesting, is that so far it seems like nobody can come to a fucking consensus regarding these elite specs, aside from the fact they're very, very undercooked. Let me know your opinions down below. Do you enjoy these rounds of elite specs? Are you disappointed? If you are disappointed, I fucking told you so, and the video that I made saying I'm disappointed by the elite specs was massively disliked, so I'd like an apology.